Hello and welcome to Hands-on Art. Today we're going to learn about optical illusion art and we're going to make a wavy paper art kind of like this. Believe me, it's easier than it looks. All right, let's get started. First, what is an optical illusion? Well, basically it's something you see that tricks your eyes. Anything optical relates to the eyes, and an illusion is something that appears to be true, but maybe it isn't. Check out some examples of optical illusion art, or op art for short. Op art started appearing a little less than 100 years ago. This piece, called Zebras, was done by an artist named Victor Vasarely in 1937. He's considered a pioneer, or one of the first people to try this kind of art. Here is another example of art where what is the background, also called negative space, and what is the foreground can confuse the viewer. Do you see a vase or two faces looking at each other? Let's look at a few more examples and think about the kinds of tools people use to create these illusions. One thing we should know is that just because we see something doesn't make it a fact all by itself. Our brains use clues around us to help us figure out what we are seeing. For instance, which line is longer? The top one or the bottom one? Surprise, they are the same. Our brains use the clues from the road, which appears to be disappearing into the distance, to convince us that the top line is longer. Often, op art uses mathematically inspired geometric shapes in black and white like these from artist Bridget Riley. Some optical illusions use color to make our eyes go all wonky. Look at this image for a few seconds and see what happens to your eyes. The contrasting colors and patterns give the illusion that the art is moving. Really, it isn't. Some optical illusion art creates impossible worlds, like these images by artist M.C. Escher. Can you sit in one of those benches or climb the stairs? I don't know, not me. Okay, now that you've learned a little bit about optical illusion art, are you ready to give it a try? Let's try making some wavy paper. Okay, are you ready to start your wavy line optical illusion art? Let's talk about what we need. You're going to need a black marker. Hopefully you have a black marker. If not, pick the darkest one that you have. A pencil is handy. A ruler is great. You need some sort of a straight edge. So if you don't have a ruler, you could use an envelope or just fold a piece of paper a few times to make it thick on the edge. Just something so you can draw a very straight line. And then we need something to color with. You could use crayons or markers. You could use colored pencils, but I think your arm will get tired. So my recommendation, if you have markers, use those and use the fattest tip that you can find. If these skinny guys, that'll take a long time to color and your arm might get pretty tired. So find your supplies and you can pause the video while you grab them and then come back. All right, let's get started with our wavy paper. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put a dot somewhere near the center of our paper. Does not have to be exact at all. And then we're gonna draw lines through it. This point is our vanishing point, and so all the lines are gonna meet up at the vanishing point. So I'm gonna take my ruler. Like I said, if you don't have a ruler, a straight edge is fine. And I'm gonna put it along the dot, and I'm gonna spread my fingers out and push down. That'll keep the ruler from moving on us when we don't want it to. Now you might want to do this with a pencil first. I'm going to start with my marker just so you can see it well. And I'm going to go right along my ruler. And I'm going to draw a line. Now I'm going to draw another line. I'm just going to move my ruler a little bit or my straight edge and draw another line. And it's going to meet up right again where that dot is. And look, I don't have quite, my ruler's not quite long enough. So I'm gonna have to move it a little and stretch it up. So now I've made two lines. Let's do another one. There's three lines. And every time I'm going through that same spot in the middle, kind of like a spider web, huh? Here is 4 lines. And again, oh, see, I screwed a little because I didn't move my fingers apart. My ruler was a little short, but I'll make it work. And maybe I'll put one more line right here. And again, right through the middle like a spider web. Okay, and there we have it. So your paper will probably look something like this. And now we're going to give it the illusion of curve. So I'm going to pick one of these wedges. This one seems like a good one. And I'm going to make a rainbow shape. And I'm going to stop when I hit the next line over. And then I'm going to move down a little bit. And I'll make another rainbow. And I'll move down a little bit. And I'll make another rainbow. And here I'm almost going to run out, but let's see. How's that? So I've got rainbows. Now I'm going to skip the next wedge. It's easier for me if I move my paper. You might want to move your paper. And I'm going to make about the same number and about the same place. And I'm going to do it all over again. I'm going to make rainbows or frowny faces if you want to think of it like that. And I'm going to make the spacing about the same. See how they started about the same place? And then I bet you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to skip this wedge and I'm going to go to this wedge and I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to do that all the way around until every other wedge has these upside down smiley faces. Now we're going to do all these wedges that don't have something. We're going to go the opposite direction. So where these were rainbows or frowny faces, now we're going to make smiley faces. And we're going to kind of connect up, you know, the lines. If you don't exactly, it's fine. It'll still look good. I'm going to move my paper and I'm going to keep going around like I did before. And I'm going to make smiley faces. Every other wedge is going to be frowny or smiley. Okay, pause the video and I'll see you back. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to color. I'm going to choose a marker. I think it's easiest if we pick a marker with a fat tip like this one. And I'm going to color in one of the wedges. So here we go. I like to outline the shape. It makes it a little neater and then fill in the middle. So I'm going to outline this shape. Oh, I'm going to do that. And go along the edges. And then I'll color it in. So notice I'm going to leave every other spot is white and then blue. If you want to pick a different color scheme, you go for it. You choose the colors that you like. I think it takes a lot of coloring to color in the entire paper. So I kind of like to leave every other spot white because it just doesn't make my hand quite so tired. Okay, what do you think I'm going to do next? I bet you can guess, huh? I'm going to turn my paper and I'm going to color the same. Every other one is going to be white and blue until I finish. My blue is running out of ink, so I had to switch markers. If you have to pick a different color, that's fine. Your illusion will still work out. Okay, I'm done with my blue, and now I'll pick a different color and we'll go on the wedges that are still blank. Let's see what color I've got here. I'm going to pick orange because orange and blue are complementary colors and they really make each other pop. If I did the middle blue, I'm going to go the second one, I'm going to make orange so that the colors alternate. And there we go. So I've got orange, and then I'm going to skip and have that be white, and I'm going to make the next one orange. And I'm going to do that for all over my paper. I'm going to make orange and white, orange and white. All right, I'll see you when you're done. You can choose whatever color you like, or colors if you want to do more than one color. And I'll see you back when you're done. Okay, I'm done. If you want to color the white some other color, you may, but if your hand's tired, you can completely stop and that's fine. Okay, now if you want, you can be done, or if you want to take your illusion one step further, you can add some shadows. So I'll show you in case you want to add some shadows. Now, if this were really wavy paper, everywhere that the paper went down together, there would be shadows. So I'm going to use my pencil because it's gray like a shadow, and I'm going to color lightly, lightly along these lines. Notice I'm even laying my pencil a little sideways, not pressing very hard. And as I come out here, I'm going to get a little wider. I'm going to be skinnier, and I'm going to make it like a triangle where my shadow gets a little wider as I go back. And just like I did before, I like to turn my paper. It helps me if the angle is like this a little more, but you know, you don't have to, but I like to turn my paper. And I'm going to go around the entire piece and add a little bit of shading. Okay, I'm done with the shading, but I'm not done with my illusion. It looks a little better. I'll teach you a trick of the trade. If you smudge your pencil. So I'm just using my finger and I'm pushing pretty hard and I'm smudging. Now our fingers have a little bit of oil on them and that helps things to smudge. And if you find that yours isn't smudging well, you might see how I'm picking different fingers. You might choose a different finger to smudge with. And that'll make your line look more like a shadow and less like you colored it with pencil. Be a better trick for your eye. Okay, my paper's all smudged and I think it's becoming very much more looking like a piece of wavy paper. Now there's one more fun little thing we can do. Again, it's optional. You don't have to do it, but you can if you want. And that is, we can add a person that falls into our wavy paper. So I'm going to do a super simple, like kind of almost a stick figure. And they're going to have their arms out. Ah, I'm falling. Oh no. And here's their body. Maybe their legs are doing the same thing. We'll put their feet on here, going up, and their hands. Here we go. Oh, I think I mean 2, 3, 4. And they're going big wide eyes, oh no, and a big oh. Maybe their hair is going crazy too. Okay, so once you draw your falling person, you can color it in if you want. Okay, now I'm going to get a pair of scissors and cut this out. Okay, now that we have our person, they can fall onto the wavy paper. You could even take a picture of yourself pretending to fall. The important thing is to cut out around it so that it doesn't just look like a piece of paper on a piece of paper. Okay, I had so much fun making art with you today. I hope you had fun too. And go out and have an art-filled week.